I would be lying to you if I said I was not hyped after this episode. As a manga reader, I am fucking hyped, dude. The ending. Kaneki joins Ogiri Tree, and I'm like, yo. That's badass. Just straight up fucking badass. Kaneki joining Ogiri Tree. You see Eto waving at him like this. I'm like, yo. So, the ending of this episode just made me so fucking hyped. I want to know what is going to happen. But, this is not following the manga anymore. This is completely its own separate story. As we all already technically knew by this point, if you were watching the reveals, the news, and different stuff like that, pretty much Season 2 is anime original. There is not going to be anything that follows the manga. So, we might have some similarities to the manga, but Season 2 of Tokyo Ghoul is going to be an entirely different world, pretty much. It's like a separate story. And with the way the ending of this episode was, I'm just going to let you anime-only watchers know right now, because you're probably wondering, is it possible that the series could go back on track and follow the manga once again? With the ending developments of this episode, no. Now, that's not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing, because if you did not know, Season 2 of Tokyo Ghoul, Route A, is actually being written by Ishida himself, the actual mangaka. And you're probably wondering, like, whoa, what makes a difference? He wrote Season 1, technically, didn't he? Well, technically, he did and didn't, because the studio that made Season 1, they have their own scriptwriter that would actually handle the plot and the makeup of the episodes. Well, with Season 2, Ishida dived in and says, I'm taking the wheel of this series, and I am making sure that everything goes right. So, Ishida pretty much made Season 2 completely separate from his manga because he didn't like the ending of Season 1. I'm not joking. So, pretty much seeing this, just seeing how Ishida is handling Season 2, I'm like, whoa! Okay, so I'm just gonna say now, this symbolism. Whoa, Ishida, calm down with that fucking symbolism. So, I mean, there's just so many things I cracked up on, which I'll talk about it later on in this review. But the thing I want to point out about this episode that really got me was the snow. The symbolism of the snow. It symbolizes, as most of us probably would know, loneliness. And when you hear that ending song, the ending song right at the end of this episode, where you see Kaneki walking by himself, you see the snow around him, you see Toka reaching out to him, she's all sad and all that, you hear that song, it represents loneliness. Kaneki is taking a path of loneliness by himself. That is pretty much what Kaneki is doing, and to see this, I'm like, yo, this is badass, man, fucking badass, because nobody knows what is going to happen. I want to be honest, nobody fucking knows besides Ishida and the studio themselves what is going to happen next. And as a manga reader, I'm telling you right now, this was the shit. It was fucking good. Like, oof, this is just like too much for me, my heart right now. I love Tokyo Ghoul. When I see this shit, I'm like, yo, this is good. So, here's the thing. What does this episode do? For the most part, like, majority of the first half of this episode, I will be honest, it was actually following the manga. And then it completely just changed and deviated from the manga at the ending part of this episode when you see, you know, Ayato and Kaneki not finish their fight. Because I'm not going to mention because of spoiler reasons, but there was supposed to be more stuff there, and pretty much it wasn't shown at all. Most likely it might be shown later on down the road, maybe, I don't know. But the thing is, though, is that I see that clearly Ishida, when he was writing this Season 2, he wanted to wrap up this little arc right quick, you know, the Ogiri Tree arc invasion. He wanted to wrap this arc up where he could get on to the anime original storyline, which we see at the end of this episode with Kaneki walking by himself into Ogiri Tree, and he's following Eto and Ayato and stuff like that. So, overall, seeing that, I'm like, damn. So, here's the thing. What could possibly happen? Now that nobody knows what's going to happen, I can actually theory craft, and I can dive in and think about what is going to happen, which, here's the thing, okay? With the ending of this episode, we clearly see Eto walking around Kaneki in this fog before it starts snowing. And you hear this girl laughing. And she's constantly going around Kaneki, and it looks really fucking creepy. I'm like, whoa, that's fucking creepy, dude. Whoa. She's like, you know, teleporting kind of, or just so fast she's going around Kaneki through the fog, and you hear this little girl laugh, and that instantly just has those alarms in my head, like, run, fucking run. When I heard that laughing, I'm like, oh man. So that was a very creepy segment of this episode. And I want to say right now, this Season 2, Episode 1 of Tokyo Ghoul Route A is actually very creepy. Like, it has a lot more creepier tones to it than I noticed even Season 1 had. Like, I don't know if I'm the only one to realize that, but the tones of Season 2, the mood, the atmosphere, the way the symbolism is used, especially with the backgrounds. Like I said, the snow backgrounds, or the crows, or the ravens coming out. When you saw Ayato and Kaneki having their conversation, dude. Symbolism. Oh. So, when I saw that shit, you saw the crows and all that just coming out beside Kaneki, and you hear that music and the sound effects, I was like, man, this just, you could tell there's a massive improvement to Season 2. Like, clearly, all that Tokyo Ghoul hype from last year with, you know, all the support and sales from the manga and stuff, it clearly made the studio put a lot more money into Season 2, because I can really tell. Speaking of money, I actually want to talk about something. That opening song. What the fuck is up with that? Like, whoa. Okay, don't get me wrong, I like the song. I like the song of Tokyo Ghoul Season 2 opening 1. I like that song, but the opening visuals, that is some lazy shit. It's in my opinion, but it's some lazy shit. Like, you just see Kaneki, his face, white-haired, he's just standing there, and the entire, like, 1 minute and 20 seconds of this opening song is just Kaneki standing still, nothing changing, pretty much, just you see hands coming around, which, you know, represent Rize, and you see how, you know, a mask is put on him and stuff like that, but that was just so lazy. Even the frames looked very choppy, like, did you see those frames when you saw the arms wrapping around Kaneki? I'm like, whoa. So, here's what I think happened. And I'm just going to assume. I think I'm almost 100% certain, and I think, you know, there's no reason to doubt this information. Since technically Studio Parrot can't rush Season 2 because Ishida grabbed him by the balls and said, you're not rushing Season 2 because I hated what you did with Season 1, pretty much Studio Parrot decided to get back at Ishida, and they decided to rush the opening song because they couldn't rush Season 2. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, besides that, my little joke, I want to talk about something, okay? This episode introduces a lot of different concepts. It introduces this new Quinke. This Quinke armor, as we see, that was introduced in this episode, was called, like, Kakuja prototype body armor. And I was like, whoa. I mean, you see, like, this Kakuja, as we know Kakuja from the end of Season 1 of Tokyo Ghoul, it was a full-body Kagane that we saw even Jason use himself. He had it all over his body. If you looked at Jason's design, you will see how the design of this Kakuja full-body Quinke is actually very similar. It looks really, really similar. And from this aspect, you can see that clearly this armor was made, you know, from Kakuja ghouls. And the actual Quinke that these, you know, investigators were using actually was eating inside of their body. Like, you saw how they were prototypes, which they'll probably have their problems, but it was actually eating inside these investigators' bodies, like this freaking armor. I'm like, whoa. So, incredibly violent. And speaking of violence, I actually want to take a moment to mention something. That uncensored. So, we can have uncensors if they want us to. I find that very interesting. No censorship. It's the same company. I'm guessing it's the same TV channel that Season 1 aired on, so I'm kind of confused about this. If any Chibi knows about that, if you know if it's because of the broadcast or something, please let me know. I'm really curious because there is censorship laws in Japan, and they really can't get around that a lot. So I'm kind of curious how they got away with all that violence. Because some of the stuff I saw in this episode was a lot more violent than some of the things I saw in those, you know, uncensored and censored comparison videos I did. And that's saying something. Because, like, damn. So, yeah, I'm happy. Uncensored Tokyo fucking Ghoul. Whoa. Did anyone expect that? I would be honest, I did not expect that at all. So, other things I want to talk about. So we get to see all our great iconic characters from the series that we all know and love pretty much have a little bit of a role in this episode. Like Shu, get to see my Shu, man, get to see his voice actor. Oh, amore. Oh, fuck, dude. I love my Shu, man. Shu. I'm sorry. Just Shu is a badass. When I saw that, like, he was having fun. He was just stabbing fucking old Gary Tree. Remember, he's like, right in the dude's fucking chest, man. And he's smiling and laughing. I'm like, this is why I love fucking Shu. Like, dude. You can never have enough. Also, I noticed that it was very apparent in this episode that Ashita was wanting to make sure that Hide had more of a role in Season 2. As I said in my Season 1 reviews of Tokyo Ghoul, clearly the studio that did Season 1, they did not realize how important Hide was. And they almost completely cut him out from Season 1. And clearly, right off the bat, in Season 2, you see Hide pop up instantly soon as Season 2 begins. I'm like, she just said something there. So, I think that's pretty much it all I think I need to cover. I mean, yeah, I think it is. So, one more thing I want to mention. I laughed my ass off at one specific piece of dialogue, and majority of you most likely know what it is. Clowns will have the last laugh. You remember the Fury I made? With my, my discussion about the anime original, everybody? If you remember my video and the quick, summary comment I did, remember my Fury? Seems like I might be onto something. So anyways, you all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.